Good morning and welcome to 7 at 7 from the Economic Times podcasts, a daily financial news capsule to get you glued in for the day. It's Friday, the 4th of October, and I am your host, Bhaskar Datta. We'll start with the latest on the raging military conflict in West Asia. The US is discussing strikes on Iran's oil facilities as retaliation for Tehran's missile attack on Israel. President Joe Biden said on Thursday, according to a Reuters report. Meanwhile, Israel's military, which is battling Lebanese militant group Hezbollah, launched fresh airstrikes in Beirut, following a massive missile launch against Israel by Iran earlier this week. Biden was asked on Thursday whether he would support Israel striking Iran's oil facilities. The US president said it was being discussed. His comments contributed to a surge in global crude oil prices, with benchmark futures contracts jumping more than $3, stoking inflation and trade deficit concerns for major importers like India. In major global corporate news, Tesla said on Wednesday that its global sales of cars and trucks rose 6.4% in the third quarter, the first quarterly increase the company has reported this year, and a sign that demand for electric cars may be recovering as borrowing costs fall across the economy, reports said. The automaker delivered 463,000 vehicles from July through September, up from 435,000 vehicles a year earlier, offering hope to investors that the company's sales have stabilized after falling in the first half of the year. The sales data were just below the expectations of Wall Street analysts, and Tesla's share price fell 3.5% on Wednesday. Tesla's share of electric car sales has fallen as rivals like General Motors, Hyundai, Ford Motor Co. and BMW have offered more battery-powered models. Let's turn to domestic news. With the escalating war in West Asia turning global investors risk-averse, Indian stocks and the rupee registered their worst single-day fall in 2 months. India's equity indices slumped over 2% on Thursday amid the conflict between Israel and Iran and a resurgence in Chinese equities. Foreign portfolio investors dumped shares worth Rs 15,243 crore, the most they've ever sold in a trading session in Thursday's trade, according to provisional data. If not for purchases worth Rs 12,914 crore by domestic institutions such as mutual funds and insurers, the slide would have been much sharper. The rupee ended at 83.96 per US dollar on Thursday, near an all-time low. Along with the geopolitical tensions and a rise in crude oil prices, tempered expectations of another large rate cut by the US Federal Reserve in November also exerted pressure on the rupee. Likely interventions by the Reserve Bank of India kept the rupee from crossing the 84 per dollar mark, currency traders said. Japan's Mitsubishi UFG Financial Group, the world's second-largest bank holding company, has re-entered the contest to acquire a majority stake in Yes Bank, India's sixth-largest private bank by assets, people aware of the matter said to ET. This comes a month after MUFG's $2 billion proposal to invest in HDB Financial, the non-banking finance arm of HDFC Bank, got rejected by the private lenders board in August. The current market value of Yes Bank is Rs 68,586.9 crore. A 51% stake sale would make it India's largest banking sector M&A. Yes Bank is in search of a new owner, 4 years after a central bank orchestrated rescue and its subsequent turnaround. Meanwhile, in a verdict that will impact over 90,000 taxpayers, the Supreme Court on Thursday ruled that all income tax notices served between April 1 and June 30th, 2021, under an earlier law, will be valid as long as the Income Tax Department had followed the procedure laid down in the new law that came into force from April 1, 2021. The ruling brings an end to a raging court feud between the government and taxpayers, who argued that the tax office had no authority to issue the reassessment notices with the law of limitation setting in. Reassessment notices are triggered when the IT department suspects that a portion of past income of assessees had escaped tax. Here's an aviation scoop with an Indian twist. Rakesh Gangwal, a director of Southwest Airlines, bought more than $100 million worth of stock, of the US budget carrier in a move that is likely to give the billionaire businessman more heft to steer the company's roadmap. Shares of Southwest rose on the news. Gangwal, who co-founded Interglobe Aviation, which runs India's largest airline Indigo, purchased 3.6 million shares at $29 to $30 apiece between September 30 and October 1, showed filings with the Securities and Exchange Commission. We end the week with developments on the renewable energy front. Google has partnered with the Adani Group and Brookfield-backed CleanMax and Vero Energy Solutions to source clean energy for its operations in India. Adani will provide clean energy to Google from its solar-wind hybrid energy plant located at Khavda, Gujarat, which is also the world's largest renewable energy park. The facility is slated to open in the third quarter of 2025. That's all for today. Thank you very much for tuning into 7 at 7 from the Economic Times podcast.